This is Nani from NaneeDon'tBlink. Thanks for watching my channel. I'll be reviewing episode number 1 of Medical Top Team. I hope you enjoy.
So episode 1 began with some sort of 60th year anniversary for the Kwanghae University Hospital, and we have presenter Professor Seo Young, and I guess she presents the director and a lot of boring conversations and blah 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 of our accomplishments. But basically, it gets to the point how they're going to make this top medical team of best doctors in all departments gathering in to work together in this one hospital, and I guess making the best team of the best, you know? Then we're introduced to Dr. Park Tae-shin, who is in it looks like an interview or some kind of discussion over this possibility of him working in another hospital up in the States, in the U.S., making a lot of money, 800,000 money. That's a lot. And it seems like he's considering it. He even discusses of a patient a child that needs a lung transplant. So I'm already thinking, is he a pediatrician or something? Well, obviously he's a great doctor, and they're offering him so much money because he's super, 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 super smart. So, you know, he already seems like a big deal. At one point, there's a server serving them. I don't remember if it was coffee or drinks or whatnot, but I saw him staring at her hardcore, and I'm like, oh, Park Tae-shin, you're a womanizer, aren't you? But it turns out it was a little more than that. It was more because, I guess she had a limp, but it took me a while to understand. I had to watch the episode again just to oh, so that's why he was staring at her. But I honestly thought he was a womanizer. So we go back into the 60th anniversary party, and we have the gorgeous, beautiful Chief Han Sung-jang, and he's there talking to the director, and all of a sudden, Chief Jang with a group of other people came in, and they were talking, and literally asking who came up with this idea. It's a great idea. Apparently Chief Han did come up with it. And then he just kind of dismissed the conversation, allowed them to speak, so he kind of walked away. And as well as the director, she just kind of bounced, bye. And, you know, the chief is Chief Jang's alright, did we get dissed? Because neither one of them wanted to talk to him. We go back to Dr. Park, and I guess he's already done with the interview, and he's walking down the hall, and he just happens to see that same server that he was checking out. And she was walking funny, and they just kind of walked past. She was limping, and then this camera shoots back to her, and she looks like a sweaty, dying zombie with all pale lips, perspiring like crazy. And he looks back at her, and then he just kind of walks away, and he doesn't do anything. And I'm like, she's gonna die. You were staring at her earlier, you know something's wrong. It's in your gut. I was getting so anxious watching this. So the perspiring, dying server goes into the bathroom, and we have the presenter, Professor Seo Young. But at that point, I'm I don't know what her position was, if she was a doctor or she was just a secretary or something. But she's on the phone or whatever, and this woman's coming in, she's sweaty, she looks like crap, and she doesn't acknowledge her. And I'm like, do you not see what's happening? This woman looks like death, and she's all ugh, ugh, and she's rinsing her face in the sink, and she takes out a small little bottle. It's not really a bottle. It looks like a lip balm holder, but it had pills in there, and she tried opening it, and she ended up spilling it, and I can't even tell if she even took one. I just feel like she let it spill, and then she just kind of limped her way out of the bathroom. And I'm like, does this woman, does Seo Young not acknowledge any of this because she's so into her phone call? And I'm like, this woman's gonna die. And I'm mad at Dr. Park for not walking back, and I'm mad at Seo Young for just being on the phone. And I'm just come on, people, she's gonna die, you know, this woman's gonna die. I mean, just looking at her, if I was in the bathroom and she would have walked in, even if I was on the phone, I'd be like, let me call you back. Click. Are you okay? Because you look like death's about to hit you. It was, I mean, decides to, I'm done with the phone, I'm gonna go wash my hands. She sees the pills spilled on the sink, and then she's like, oh my god, what happened to that server? She walks out. So now I'm kind of taking it where this 60th year anniversary event thing is going on. It's in the same building, in the fancy building where Dr. Park's interview is, because I mean, I knew he wasn't in the event, he was in an interview in a cafe or something. So it's within the same vicinity. So this is probably when they're gonna like bump into each other somehow, right? So then we see Dr. Park. Dr. Park is running, looking for her. He finally sees her, turns an angle, and he follows her, walks in, and what is it? It's a crowded ass room. Now, let's talk about this server. This chick is about to die just looking at her. She's perspiring, her lips have gone pale, she's limping, and she's grabbing her legs. Girl, like, aren't you gonna, like, stop for a minute and make a call to the hospital or tell somebody to help you or, like, anything? Like, why are you limping and walking through all these places? You could have asked Dr. Park that moment you guys walk by the hallway and be like, sir, help me, or just, like, show that you're in pain or something. Like, this bitch, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to curse. This chick right here is like, I'm like livid, like, you're about to die. Like, I don't know if she was about to die, but like, this is what I'm seeing. Like, you're about to die and you keep walking like you're at work. Like, you ain't lifting stuff, you ain't serving people anything. You're just perspiring, huffing and puffing, holding onto your chest and holding onto your leg and limping. Like, why are you gonna go into a crowded room? He finally discovers her. Like, mind you, I'm like at the edge of my seat watching this, like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? Is she gonna, like, die now because she's being so stubborn and just limping her way away from help? Like, so Dr. Park sees her and he's like, 저기요, 괜찮아? Like, are you okay? And she turns around and this girl's like, faints. Like, she just fell and knocks out on all these plates. And I'm like, see, this is what happens when you go into a big room. She should just stop and tell people, like, I don't feel well. I can't even take my pill. Like, but, so he gets on there. He's like, rips her skirt and he's touching her leg. And I was like, alright, like, okay. And he's filling up her neck, like, checking her pulse and whatnot. And then, Seo Young, like, walks in and she's like, she sees him and she's like, she pushes him off. I'm like, bitch, what are you doing? Like, at least he's trying to help her. It's not a rape scene happening. I mean, for what I know, it's definitely not a rape scene. And she's like, you're not doing it right, and da-da-da, and they're arguing, and this girl, like, this is not the time. Like, I understand she was trying to take precautions because she doesn't know this guy, she doesn't know he's a doctor. So they end up, like, bickering, like, I'm a doctor, too, and I'm a doctor. So now we know Seo Young is not just a presenter, she's a doctor. Okay. So now, Dr. Park's like, she needs to be treated because she has, I think he said it, like, she has melas and whatnot. And all this stuff, and they're like fighting about helping her. She's like, she called 911, and he's like, we need to take care of her now. So he like picks her up and he pushes Seo Young out of the way, and that bitch hurt her wrist, and she's like, ah, and he's like taking her to the other room, goes into this really fancy other room that has like some kind of event going on. You see like a video on the screen, and he's like, I'm sorry, people, I need to save this person, I need to save her. He grabs the swan, and then he's like, slams it. And then security's trying to fight him. He's like, I need to save her. Like, security, please. Like, I understand he looks kind of crazy, but in my head I was like, come on, guys, you don't know what's happening. You don't know what's happening. Like, I was, honestly, like, my nerves were driving me crazy because if this girl died, I would just be, like, so mad.